Shifting gears to a little bit, something that matters to me and entrepreneurs all over the country is why can't I wire somebody money at 6 p.m. Eastern time? Can we get to a 24/7 scenario where wires are cleared every day, all day? I think that would be very, very helpful to businesses all over the country.
So that's coming. It's just coming slowly here. We have that at FedNow. We'll get in touch with you about FedNow. We provide that service between two banks, and others want to provide it too. But yes, we do kind of lag a lot of other countries in that, and it is time for that to happen.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the show. This is Zip, here to have another conversation about crypto and this journey that we are on, and just to keep you engaged, keep your mindset straight, and what is happening and the latest and current events that are going on. Again, thank you for all the new subscribers, all the likes, the comments. Continue to populate those on the YouTubes here, and I'll try to answer all questions as I can as we're, again, traveling through this. And my goal is to get you across the finish line and give you more of a macro view of what is going on and where we are going on this transition of the financial system. And that is exactly what is happening before our eyes. I apologize if I sound a little sniffly, but fighting a little sinus cold here. But we're going to jump straight into it today. And again, we're going to look at the broad picture. We're going to talk about banks that are talking about crypto custody services and what that means to us in the future, as well as Ripple and the bigger crypto conversations that are happening in Washington, and how that translates to us as we are early on. And we're going to look at the updated Ripple website and some other things there, as well as another warning to be careful and discussion about leverage in these markets. And just, again, my goal is to make it as safe as possible for you. If you are new to this environment, my spidey sensors are going off again with some things that are going on, and I will give you a personal history of what I went through, and I do not want you to make those mistakes. I want you to be safe, secure, protect your assets so we all can make it across the finish line, and again, be hundredaires, millionaires, whatever the case may be, wherever you are, and spend our time on the most beautiful beaches of the world together. But let's jump straight into it. So again, banks, State Street and Citibank launch crypto custody services. They're coming all in, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the big picture as we're looking at the regulation that is starting to lay down and what is going on in the bigger picture. Banks across the United States are beginning to give more attention to the digital asset industry. And I'm going to show you some proof. They've been talking about this for years. And we're going to look in the theme of this video today, but we've been held back, and we know that the SEC and the previous administration has been holding that back. But with the Federal Reserve's recent decision to let banks make their own responsible decisions around housing crypto, multiple institutions are deciding to launch custody services. The addition of the crypto ETFs in 2024 was also a huge help. And we know more ETFs are coming. We know an XRP ETF is imminent. It is coming this year, and things are moving fast. Digital assets and blockchain technology have the power to transform financial markets as well as the economy over the next decade. And a number of companies will grow and flourish thanks to their contribution to the transformative technology and the changing of the financial infrastructure. And that's what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. So if we go back to 2018, we know Citi has been involved looking at XRP, looking at Ripple, and utilizing their technology. This report that we're looking at is back from 2018. If you're newer to the environment, this shows you how long this conversation has been going on behind the scenes. We don't know what NDAs Ripple has and who they are specifically with, but we know they have a lot of them. And again, you can go out to Citi and you can look up these GPS reports. This one specifically is from 2018. And when you do a find there, 18 times XRP is specifically mentioned. If we look at Ripple itself, Ripple is mentioned 28 times. throughout this whole document of banking with the future, banking in the future, and how it's going to look. If we go to more recent times, we look at the GPS report that just came out this year in October, or last year in October of 2024. And again, we're going to read some of this, but new technology and consumer adoption of digital real-time services is accelerating, and cross-border payments landscape is no exception, undergoing unprecedented changes at a revolutionary pace. And that's what we're starting to see. Everything is moving quickly in the industry, and transformation of cross-border payments is driven by customer expectations of streamlined, transparent, 24/7 experience, both domestically and across borders. To future-proof, banks must embrace innovation, taking a client-first approach and adopting new technologies which can help the entire payment chain, including more efficient back-end processes, intelligent use of data, improving top and bottom line and end, always on availability with real-time delivery, real-time payments. And the products that, or the assets that we talk about, are ISO 222 projects, XRP, XLM, Algorand, XDC, to name a few. And again, why are they going to this landscape? Facilitation of smoother communication between different stakeholders. We should be able to send money as easy as we send email. Proof and time and video that I've been putting out, and that other content providers have been putting out, shows that this is what we need and this is where we're going. And again, ISO 222 compliant crypto can integrate more effectively with traditional finance systems. Again, the picture here are just a few of those technologies, and that's why I'm a utility maxi. I have a diversified portfolio, but I want real world utility in the payment sector for real world RWAs that are coming out as we're tokenizing the environment, which is what hbar will be doing, XRP is doing with Ondo, US treasuries that are being done. It's the bigger macro picture, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what I'm trying to bring you, and want you to understand that we are very, very, very early still. And if you are brand new, you are absolutely not too late. You are getting in at the right time. Whatever your time is the right time. For those of us that have been here for a while, we've had the opportunity to accumulate for many, many years at absolutely low prices as compared where these cryptos and these projects are going to go. And as Watcher Guru says here, fun fact, less than 7% of global population is invested in crypto. And I would challenge that. If we look at ISO, because they're taking crypto as a whole, meme coins and a lot of the other projects. But if you dissect that even further into ISO, real world projects that are going to be utilized, it's even a smaller percentage than that. So you are absolutely early. So understand what you hold, do your own research, and just look into the future. And the future is absolutely bright as we enter a golden age of crypto. Let's listen to Brad from a recent interview that he had at St. Moritz in 2025. And then we'll step this across with the conversation of what's going on in Washington, D.C. and the conversations that are being had there.
And I think there is going to be a Trump effect domestically, but the pun intended ripple effect of that outside the United States, I think, is going to be significant also, where, you know, it's just the U.S. has an outsized influence. And I mean, you are appropriately calling we're in a bull market. I get it. There's another way to look at it. Gary Gensler's knee on the neck of the crypto industry was a $1 trillion knee. And so another way to look at it is there's not actually a bull. It's just it's a recovery from a malfeasance attacking an industry that now it's like, oh, okay, that's gone. And now we've kind of reset. I mean, one of the things we were talking about.
I wonder, Brad, whether you could speak a little bit about the pieces of the puzzle that are yet to kind of fit into place,
to
make that a reality.
Well, I mean, I'll use Ripple. I mean, I never want to do a commercial of your own company, but I think what Ripple's been trying to do is go to institutions and deliver a service that their customers have no idea that the cross-border payment they just made went through crypto, and they shouldn't care. It was fast, it was cheap.
Again, the future will be agnostic to most individuals. They will not understand the technology that is being used with the stable coins, RLUSD, and that'll be the front end, the back end. Customers just want to be able to move money, and that's where we're going. We, as crypto asset holders, obviously we understand custody, and we are at the front lines of this new technology, but we're moving past that, and it has to be able to be embraced. It has to be able to be easy for the normal folks out there, our parents, our kids that aren't wanting to custody that. And that's why the banks are coming in with custody services, which will be more traditional and will be more secure. So they don't have to, individuals do not have to worry about having wallets and such. And as Brad said there's been a $1 trillion knee put against crypto for the last 4 to 6 years. And now that knee is not on us anymore. And all of this is coming to light. And with the regulation that is coming, it's going to be an explosion. And this is the time that we have been waiting for. What else is going on in Washington? We know that Ripple and Lauren Believe, I believe is how you say her name, but she is the Ripple head, if you would, for global policy and government at Ripple. And she says, big day with Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse in town. His trip comes at a pivotal moment for digital asset industry with pro-crypto Congress and growing bipartisan momentum. There's an unprecedented opportunity to advance meaningful legislation that establishes clear, long-term regulatory frameworks for the industry. Many thanks to the members of Congress and administration officials for taking the time to meet with the team. Ripple is engaged everywhere within DC right now. They're meeting with all of these individuals, the Congress that is talking about stablecoin regulation. They are there and in the fold, and they're not the only ones. We know that Charles Hoskinson, if you're an ADA holder, we know there's a March 1st big VIP meeting that he's been putting out. We don't know who that is with necessarily. We believe speculation. It could be with President Trump. But the bottom line is all of the crypto industry is in Washington because we're seeing the change of the financial system, which is starting with the regulation so that banks now are able to custody. The big macro picture again, ladies and gentlemen, very exciting. Eleanor Terrett put out, so with crypto policy now a priority in Washington, I've been asking policy folks this week, are there too many cooks in the kitchen? And that is a concern. You have all of these different factions and these different crypto industry leaders having these conversations. And can it be too much? Will it be too much? Well, being in government, it could be. But the overwhelming response, she says, surprisingly, there's a lot of coordination happening. These groups are actually talking and working with each other, which is what we want to see. And David Sachs had said this as well. Sorry about that. As Eleanor reports, the Interagency Working Group on Digital Assets is working well together to implement the president's agenda. And Bo Hines is doing a fantastic job as the executive director, keeping everyone coordinated. And key here, he says, some important announcements are coming soon. So again, I don't focus on dates. I focus on the news and what's going on. If he says there's important announcements coming, that is exciting. That's something we should be watching and eager to see that is coming. But we know that they're working, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what we want to see as investors in this environment. So there's been a Ripple update to their website. So we see here, I don't want to play the music because I don't know if I'll get a, if YouTube's going to get upset about it or whatever. But new website update with Ripple, updated information up there from the Wrath of Kahneman. What he says is the most interesting part of the Ripple redesign, CBDCs are gone. Now, are they getting out or just laying low? Because we know that President Trump has stated the U.S. will not go to a CBDC. Other notes there's no new customers that were listed. Investments are now listed and dev docs are more visible. So just some highlights there for you to know the update that's going on there. And you can see the video that came out from Ripple yesterday and new Ripple update on their website. So again, everything is changing and we'll keep you up to date with that. Now, Smoke, again, is putting out here, he's saying, why the XR, he's putting a tag for the XRPL as the best candidate to track government spending on the blockchain. The XRPL is the best candidate for tracking government spending on the public blockchain because it combines transparency, security, and regulatory compliance. We're going to look at this video below and listen to Ripple's Antoinette O'Gorman, and when she talks about cybersecurity and blockchain. But again, we know the conversation out there with Elon Musk and Doge is evaluating blockchain for the government and putting everything on the blockchain so we have transparency. Who's going to be tasked to do that? Well, speculatively, it could be Ripple and the XRPL. But let's take a listen to what she has to say here.
Take it one step further. Even if we did introduce AML regulation that was globally applicable to all institutions, all digital currency exchanges, irrespective of jurisdiction, I want to tell you, it won't really, it's not going to be able to effectively handle the transaction risk, because all transactions are happening underneath, on the blockchain, underneath these digital currency exchanges. The transactions that are going through the exchanges, yes, they're going to be monitoring that type of activity, but who is monitoring the transactions that are conducted on the blockchains themselves? There is no financial institution today, there's no company today, with the possible exception of Ripple Labs, that has been required by regulators to monitor and report on suspicious activities.
Again, Ripple has been compliant from day one and working within the system, not outside of the system. And that's why XRP is one of my largest holdings and one of the most exciting projects in my portfolio of projects that I invest in. But we will see what happens in the future. Exciting and good to know going into the future. Now, I'm going to talk about this again. So I want you guys, and hopefully you're listening to the end of this video because this is probably the most important part. I probably should have put this in the beginning, but the bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, please be careful. I know Doppler Finance is out there, and we have some content creators that are advertising this and commenting on it. And, it's a way to earn yield off of your XRP, but please do understand, you are basically giving them your XRP. As I said yesterday, I'm not comfortable with that yet. And the reason for that is I went through some of this in 2021, 22 timeframe with Celsius. And, I got chewed up basically and lost a lot of my assets. So I'm not telling you not to, because I don't give financial advice, but I am giving you an awareness. Please be very, very careful in this environment. They're getting ready to release batch 2. I've read through some of the documentation, but it's kind of vague and I can't get a firm commitment. I don't know who the team is exactly. Maybe some other content creators do and they feel comfortable, but I'm not going to put anything out and in the hope that you're going to earn yield, which may be very small yield, and lose your XRP. It's just not worth it to me at this point until I understand a little bit more. And even Hugo Filion, who is with Flare. Now, again, this is competition. So maybe some of his perspective here is because of the competition, but he basically says this is one of the key reasons we are building Flare. A little bit more transparency there. Some of the projects I'm seeing launch around XRP are taking immense shortcuts. If the protocol you are using for your XRP FI, which is what they're using, Doppler, isn't built with decentralization at its core, then it's essentially Celsius 2.0, which again, I was here for Celsius. I'm sure some of you were as well. I don't want to be taken again. So I'm keeping my crypto in my custodial wallet. Hardware wallets are what is preferred for me. But if you have a software wallet, you own the keys, and I'm not moving it into some other custody at this point in time. And again, Vet, who has been in the community for quite a long time, again, he says the same thing. We can't put our XRP in custodial, XRPL, DeFi hyped by influencers. Instead, our purpose is to reinvent the foundation on which global finance is built. And again, he's kind of alluding to, there's some big influencers out there that are backing this, but I will tell you, back when Celsius came out, the biggest influencers that are still out there today were backing Celsius and advertising Celsius and promoting Celsius and had them on their shows and such and promoting it. And a lot of people got hurt by that. And I'm not saying they did it purposely. I don't believe that would be the case. However, take caution, understand what you're doing, and do not get into anything that you are not 100% sure and you don't understand the technical stack behind it. So again, I'm staying away from it for now. I want to keep my stuff safe. That's Zip's opinion. Take it for what it is. But again, I want us all to make it across the finish line. So I'm not jumping in. And another case in point, this is Arthur Hayes, who is well known in the crypto environment. He's going to talk about leverage here. And I mention this all the time. We don't want to over leverage ourselves as well, folks. We don't want to mortgage the house against these projects. Crypto is still very nascent. As exciting as it is to see the transformation, and I do believe this is where we're going to be going in the future, and they're going to be using these technologies, and many of which I speak to. However, you don't want to over leverage, and let's just listen to what he has to say. He says it better than I do.
What would that be?
The judicious use of leverage. Obviously, I've made a lot of money. I'm providing highly leveraged trading products to the world. But at the end of the day, I think that times are very volatile. We've seen Bitcoin, go from zero to however many trillions of dollars of market cap, but it's been, quite a bumpy ride. If you believe in this thesis of printed money, then at least make it so that you survive. Capital preservation is more important than capital appreciation. Unless you're a full-time trader where all you do is stare at a computer screen, I would say don't use that much leverage.
Again, capital preservation, holding your assets, DCAing in. That is the way most of us are going to make long-term profits. I don't stare at a computer screen every day. I'm not in and out of trades. If you are and you're doing well, congratulations. But the bulk of us, we're not built that way. I'm not built that way. So I DCA in. I look at the macro view of where things are going. I buy the dips. I hold long term, and that is the thesis that I use in order to get across the finish line and to incur the greatest profits. And more profits are coming, ladies and gentlemen. But again, with that, please be safe. Have a great weekend. And until next time, Zip is out.